What's up, YouTube? This is your boy G back in another video. Alright, so let's talk about Final Fantasy 16. Alright, this is interesting. Now, let me begin by saying that whatever you hear on this one, of course, this is just my honest opinion about the game. I played the game for about, I don't know, 5-7 hours now. Now, I believe, of course, I have to finish the game, 40-50 hours in order to provide my full review on this one. I will probably provide my full review one of these days, but I would like to provide my initial thoughts, right, my initial review on this one, because I also believe that in order for you to like a game, you don't need to play the entirety of 50 hours, right? What if I don't like it? I'm not going to be able to play the entirety of it. So I believe a game, if it's good, should actually hook you, should actually pick your interest about even 30 minutes, right? An hour, a couple of hours, and make you really love it. Honestly speaking, on the demo itself, I actually love the game. But as I go along, as I discover things, or probably, discover things that aren't there, right? I kind of like began to realize, right? I started to realize what kind of game this is, and this is not the Final Fantasy I've been looking for. So again, let me preface. By the way, this is just my honest opinion about it. Just a quick background. Again, I'm a hardcore RPG fan. As a matter of fact, of course, PS5 and PC, a lot of PS5 games, but specifically, Final Fantasy. This kind of like my life, right? Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8, 9, and I mean, who wouldn't love the 8, 9, 10? I actually preferred 10. Personally, for a very long time, I actually like that as one of my best RPG, in terms of gameplay and replayability. I kind of like played that so many times already. Final Fantasy X, even X2. I played the 11 a little bit, the online, but I'm kind of like graduated with online already. That's probably the reason why I don't like this so much. But I played the 12. I love that. I love the 12. I played the 13. I even like the 13, right? Lightning. And I played a couple of 14 as well. But Final Fantasy 15 is like the best one on my recent history, of course, before Final Fantasy 7 Remake. But just to let you know, I'm an avid fan of Final Fantasy because of the RPG, specifically the JRPG, side of this. I'm going to discuss that further down the road here on the review on my initial thoughts. But I will just straight up tell you right now, this Final Fantasy 16 is not my cup of tea. Right. So again, this is just for me personally speaking. You will like it, or you might like it. You might not like it. It depends. I will implore you to watch a lot of YouTube videos, to actually play the demo, or a little bit of it, and see for yourself if you're gonna like it. I'll be honest though, there's kind of like a social and a peer pressure right now, plus FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. That you might think that you like it, right? Or you're actually just being pressured to play it just because it's very popular and a lot of people are talking about it. But as a true gamer, don't worry about it. Don't feel the FOMO, and play the game that you like. Play the game that you have time to play. Right now, again, on the video here, I'm just playing Final Fantasy 16 first hour of my gameplay, so I'm not gonna spoil anything for you here. So just sit back and relax and listen to me mumble about this one. Now, again, Final Fantasy 16 is an awesome game, right? Or rather, it's an awesome piece of entertainment material. I'm gonna get into that more deeper on the game itself, because I don't think this is a pretty game, or rather, I don't think this is a good game, right? So let me clarify. Final Fantasy 16 is an spectacular, amazing piece of an entertainment material, but for my opinion itself, this is not the best game ever. If so, it's actually like very far from it, right? Because as a game, it has to check a lot of check marks, right? As you all know, gamers, especially for RPG fans, for RPG, it has to have a lot of things in order to be RPG. Now, as we all know, this game kind of like graduated from RPG elements and really embraced the action. The problem is this game is not really an action, like a true action-based game, right? So they intended the battle to be action-oriented, but it looks like they actually made the entire game action oriented, right? It's not just the battle, but the entire game. The problem about this game is it's still RPG on the length, right? It's still, you're gonna have to finish it by 40 to 50 minutes. There's a lot of people, NPC you're gonna talk around, unlike Devil May Cry or other action game that is just like 10 to 15 hours or something, probably maximum of 20 hours. This one, its length is like an RPG, right, with 40 to 50 hours, but you will be forced to do the things that you do in an action game that you can only endure to do for about 10 to 12, 15 hours. This one, you're going to have to do it for 50 hours. It's a little bit repetitive, right? Actually, it's not a little bit. It's very repetitive, and it's actually going to be tedious, right? It's going to be exciting for the very first few hours, a lot of spectacle and amazement, astonishment on the things, but then you will feel nothing, right? You will probably feel some pain in your head, some headaches, and specifically in your finger. And it might even feel that it's kind of like a mobile game. You just mash thing, but you don't really think about it. And it's a bummer. I'm gonna talk about that really quickly on the cons part, but let me first provide the pros on it. Right? These are the things that I like about Final Fantasy 16, or these are the things that I think this is very strong. All right. Number one, graphics. I don't think there is a better graphics out there for Final Fantasy 16. Let me think. Maybe Horizon Forbidden West is actually a little bit better, especially on the interaction with the NPC. But the graphics and the presentation of Final Fantasy 16 is just absolutely insane, right? The transitioning between cutscenes and actual gameplay is just so seamless, right? So perfect. It's just really gonna like wow, right? Gonna wow you. Gonna drop your jaw on the floor, and it's just a spectacle after spectacle, epicness after epicness. I mean, if you like these kind of things, right? If you're into watching movies, right, or just sitting back on the couch doing nothing, just watching, you will absolutely love Final Fantasy 16. The problem about this is it's a spectacle, its graphics, its cutscenes are, I think, around 80% of the entire game. I'm not even kidding, guys. It's around 70 to 80% of the game, and it sucks. Absolutely, it sucks because yes, it's good. Yes, it's very very good graphics. The presentation is good, but I wanted to play. Right, I grab my controller here. I grab a game from PlayStation so I can play. Right, so I can feel that I'm Clive. Or I can feel that I'm the character. I have a freedom to play around. I will care for myself. Things like that. Right. But I don't feel any of that on this game. It's just like I'm just watching a movie here, like I'm just watching like a Final Fantasy animation, or those Resident Evil CGI movies. It feels like I'm just watching movies or a movie, and then occasionally it will ask you to move your joystick around, press some QTEs or fast buttons, and then go back to the movies again. It's not like a game that will really immerse you. I'm going to talk on that more later on, but this is not a Final Fantasy that I've been looking for. Now I know Final Fantasy is very big on FMBs or something like cutscenes, but you have to balance the cutscenes with the real time scenes, right? And the things that you do when you're controlling the game. So you're not gonna be like just watching the game, playing like Heavy Rain. Even Heavy Rain is better than this, the interaction, and doing nothing, right? It will make you feel kind of like dumb, just watching for it to fold and then just going with the flow. It doesn't have that feeling that it will give you that you're in control, and then you're basically playing a role-playing game, right? This is not a role-playing game. This is not an RPG. This is definitely just like a cinematic, action-oriented game that will force you to watch, click a couple of buttons every now and then watch more. But again, graphics is super awesome. This is just exclusive for PS5, so that explains that. I really love that. I hope more games will be like that. It's just PS5. But one thing that it's kind of like a bummer for me right now. How can I explain this? Gaming has always been about gameplay, right? This is where you will respect. What's the name of the Elden Ring? Miyazaki? I forgot. I think it's Miyazaki. This is when you will, respect him more because he did not put a lot of graphics power or effort on the Elden Ring because he mentioned gameplay is king, right? Gameplay is king, and I believe it 100% of the time. This group who created Final Fantasy 16, right? Kind of like forgotten that they focused so much on the graphics, right? They forgot to put everything else. And I will tell you right now, without even exaggeration, they kind of like forget or probably intentionally did not put like 90% of what we love on Final Fantasy. Again, no exaggeration, guys. They did not put 90% of what we love in Final Fantasy, and I think that's a bummer. Because the problem about this is, Final Fantasy, people love Final Fantasy because of what it is, right? Because of its characteristic, because its personality, because Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy, right? That's an RPG that we love. The problem about this game, the Final Fantasy 16, is it's trying so hard to be something that it's not, right? Which is like an action-oriented game. It's kind of like an epic movie, and it's losing its identity, right? And again, this is the problem. We love Final Fantasy because it's Final Fantasy. We did not love it because it looks like an action game or it looks like something else. We love it because it's Final Fantasy. That's why Final Fantasy remake, Final Fantasy 7 remake is just absolutely beautiful because it captured the original essence of Final Fantasy in a modern twist, which is just absolutely perfect, right? And this one, though, it's forgotten everything else on what the DNA of a Final Fantasy is. Again, I'm going to talk on that more later on my cons. But guys, I'm just going to tell you right now, I would actually love this game, or probably not love, but I would probably respect this more if they did not name this Final Fantasy, because this is not Final Fantasy. I will tell you that. As an avid fan of Final Fantasy, this is not a Final Fantasy game. This is just something else, right? But anyway, again, go back to the pros. Graphics are insane, I can tell you that. And music is absolutely bananas, right? If there's a strongest trait of this game, that's just music. It's just ridiculously good. Whenever you're fighting in battle, like you're fighting boss battles and actions, right, and epicness of cutscenes, as you all expect. Again, the music are just insane. Music is just crazy, guys. It's just super awesome, super spectacular. But again, these are all entertainment. It's kind of like a one-way trip, right? You're just like a consumer sitting in your couch, sitting in your sofa, listening out of your television, out of the music, but you're not really inputting something. You're not adding up anything, right? You're not a gamer at this part. You're just like a listener, right? You just absorb the music, the graphics, but you don't do anything at all to be involved on this world, right? Last thing is, of course, again, the presentation, the spectacle. That's one of the strongest point of this game. But again, it's also one of its how can I explain this? Probably culprit, right? Because of trying so hard to be epic, to be presentable, to be epic, to be really spectacular. Again, like what I just exactly mentioned, it'll make you just sit in awe, right? But you're not gonna game. You're not gonna be able to play. You're not going to be immersed, right? There's like a borderline between story or sorry, like the spectacle and versus the immersion. And I will tell you, I think one thing, the one reason that's why I'm not liking this game so much right now, because I'm playing other RPG as well, specifically the Trails of Cold Steel. I'm already on part 4. I already played Trails of Cold Steel 1, 2, 3, and then Trails in the Sky 1, 2, 3. Excuse me. I also played the Trails to Zero and to Azure, and that is just bananas, right? That's just really the JRPG, the RPG that you would love, especially in character building. This one, it sucks. It absolutely sucks. So let me begin with my cons now, right? So that is just my pros. Just to take note of that. My pros are the graphics. Again, it's saying music and presentation. Now let me go to the cons because, oh boy, this is a long list of cons, right? I'm gonna try to narrow down everything, sum it up, but I will have to explain to you really my points, why I think these are cons for this game. The very first one, excuse me, is character build-up. Man, the character build-up on this game sucks, Paul. It's so disappointing that it just sucks. I will tell you right now, character build-up really sucks. How can I explain this? Final Fantasy series, as we all know, we all love the characters on it. Now, if you actually realize, we don't love Cloud because he's Cloud. We don't love Squall because he's Squall, right? We don't love those characters because of their name, of their individuality. We love them, we get attached in them because of the people around them, right? They always come in a lot of friends, a lot of relationships, a lot of twists, a lot of things in life, right? That you sometimes you relate, right? So for example, Cloud, you got Tifa, my girl, right? You got Aries, you got Barrett. You have Marlene, right? Barrett will have scenes with Marlene. Tifa will have scenes of Marlene. You have Yuffie. You have a lot of characters that you love, right? And then you have Sephiroth, you're the arch nemesis and kind of like the friend or something. It's like a really strong character that balances your character as well. On Squall, you have a lot of other characters like Party that actually joins you in your adventure. And then even in Final Fantasy 15, right, with Ignis, with all of the characters there, you would actually love them as they go to their journey, right? And that's what RPG is all about. And I will tell you right away, guys, none of those, none of those party system, none of those group friends and whatever are here on Final Fantasy 16. And it's just a shame because here it's just always Clive, right? It's just Clive. Now, of course, you have that one person that you're with you, but it's just basically that, right? The one that has Ramu, but that's it. You don't really have a party system, and then to add up for the actual gameplay, you don't even control any other characters at all. You only control Clive, and that's really it. You don't even send commands to other character to move, to use their powers or something. They're kind of just AI, right? They'll just support you there, or stood there, right? Just stand there, kind of like dumbfounded. But you don't have the characters. Now, characters are so big in the game. I will tell you that right away, especially that I'm playing like what I told you, the Trails of Cold Steel and the entirety of the Legend of Heroes. I love that game so much because of each character that you will fall in love with, right? You will see them grow. You will see them literally grow, right? Grow bigger, grow taller. When someone die, like Jesus Christ, you're gonna cry, right? When someone got captured, you're gonna get worried about that, and it's like you are very immersed in the game. You feel them, you feel that you're into the game yourself, and you wanted to solve, the problem. You wanted to save the people, and at those moments, you're not even caring about the graphics at all. You're just so immersed in the actual characters, and that's the magical thing of RPG, specifically JRPG, right? You build them, right? So you level the characters, not just a simple level, right? You add bonds. For example, again, Legends of Cold Steels or something, on the heroes. You build their bonds. You manipulate their weapons, their armors, whatever, their items. They have quartz. You start to love the character. You start to care on them, making you care on them so much that you love them. You make them your beloved characters. You dear them so much. Now the problem about this is just freaking Clive. Now I will tell you, as you can see on the face of Clive here, Clive is most handsome and whatnot. A lot of girls will probably drool on him. But the problem is, this game, again, you will have to play this for about 40 to 50 freaking hours, and just using Clive alone, swinging that sword without even any other variation or anything like that, it's just repetitive button mashing, is very, very tedious, right? It's gonna be tedious, it's gonna be tiresome, and you're gonna get bored to hell, right? The feeling that you will feel playing this game versus the feeling that you will feel playing other RPG games is like miles different, right? Playing Trails of Cold Steel or other JRPG out there, I care about their world. I care about each and every character. On this freaking game, I don't even care about Clive himself, right? After playing several hours of it, I'm just like, okay, let's just watch this spectacular, cutscenes here, and then let's go ahead and wait for a moment that we can control Clive again, because once we can control him, we're gonna button smash, go from point A to point B, kill that boss there, and then go to the sub quest, which is, by the way, the side quests are absolutely trash. It's like it's not even near Witcher level. I mean, it's actually a shame, because Witcher, which is created like a long time ago, has super interesting sub quests, right? Side quests compared to this one. This one's just ridiculous, fetch and kill nonsense stuff. It's like they don't even think about it. It's like, yeah, let's just try to make it longer. So let's just put some sub quests, not even related to the actual main quest, and it's just a myth, right? Because they could have like make the actual plot, the main story, convoluted, or not convoluted, but interesting, right? Complex, integrating sub quests, but they did not. This is a very linear game. It will not, honestly speaking, it will not give you a feeling of an open world game, right? It has some, kind of like maps or areas to venture with, but they're pretty small, and you won't care at all because they're like dead or something. I'm gonna get into that in a bit. But again, going back to the character itself, very poor. What you can see here, for example, you're seeing Clive right now, and then Sid, right? He's kind of like partner here. That's pretty much it. I'm not even kidding, guys. That's pretty much it. The other character that you will have is very minor, probably going to join you sometimes and not. But that's pretty much it. You don't have a group of solid friends, that will really make you care on them, that you will see grow, that you will see them tandem. You won't see the camaraderie, the dynamics, right? The collaboration and the partnership of Cloud, Barrett, Tifa, Aerith here on this game. Here, it's just Clive. The problem is, it's just Clive trying to be like Devil May Cry, but it ain't Devil May Cry. So it also fails on that as an action game, and it fails so much as an RPG game. The problem about Final Fantasy 16, it doesn't know its identity anymore. Trying to forget, that's the main problem with Final Fantasy for me. Final Fantasy 16. It's trying to venture out so much on its own identity we've come to know and love, and it's trying to be something else that it's not. It's now failing to be either, right? It's not a good action game, and it's a bad RPG game. So by trying to be good on both, it actually managed to be bad on both, right? RPG elements. That's my second con. It's not here. RPG elements sucks balls. I can tell you that. Oh man, I remember the days where you're managing RPG in Final Fantasy X, for example. Even the simple materia management of Final Fantasy VII. Hell, even Crisis Core has better RPG management than this one. You don't you don't manage your powers, right? You don't have like passive skills that you can really like it doesn't even have Western RPG styles, like Elden Ring or something. You don't have that complexity of other games. Like your weapon will provide like such elements so you can battle this element. For example, excuse me, if you fight like a water element here, you're thinking like a lightning would probably do more damage or something. No, you can even attack like a fireball, like the bomb in Final Fantasy, right? You can even attack fireball using your fire, and it's fine. It's just nuts because it's supposed to like be resistive, right? Or it's supposed to be resistant on fire. If you fire with fire, it's just normal. But here, they did not even think about that. It's a shame, right? Man, I'm so frustrated on that because this is like an RPG. I did not realize that they will really go all in action game, on this game because it's an RPG on its core, but it's just really a bad one. Like I can tell you, it doesn't have elements. It doesn't have complexity like Quartz in Trails of Cold Steel. It doesn't have any of those RPG elements that we come to love, right? We come to know and love. And that's a shame because Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy, right? It's supposed to be an RPG fantasy that we love, that we manage. We think. This one, you don't even think. No gears, guys. I can tell you right away. There's no itemization here. There's no management. You have a couple of buckle, belt and sword that is just super identical to each other. You don't, you're gonna miss the Buster sword. You're gonna miss like an Ultima sword. You're gonna miss a lot of other weapon that you use in other RPG because none of those are here, right? You're gonna use the same crap that Clive is using from beginning to end. And one big thing as well that gripe that I have on the battle itself, it doesn't have an impact, right? This is the problem that I'm talking about being action game. Action game like Devil May Cry, you will feel every impact, right? Let alone Monster Hunter or other game, when you like smack the head of the dragon, you can really feel the impact. You can really feel the sword cutting their limbs or something. You won't feel anything on this game, right? It's just a bunch of lights, and it's actually super fast. And I think it's even detrimental on the actual experience because the action is happening so fast you won't be able to plan, you won't be able to enjoy, you won't be able to even realize what's happening on the screen half of the time, right? You're just button smashing. So basically, you're just looking at the bottom right corner, looking in your timer, and making sure that you're pressing the buttons that are already cooled down. And that's a shame because that is a mobile game, right? Even the layout of that is a mobile game. It's like you're just mashing buttons, waiting for them to finish, cooling down, and then clicking it home again. That's a shame because it's supposed to be strategic. RPG has always been strategic. Even action game will make you, think, right? Even like when you play Bloodborne or Elden Ring or something, it's gonna make you think of a strategy, right? Hit some parts of the monsters, do some things like this, roll on this part. You won't do anything on this game because you're just basically mashing buttons, waiting for the health gauge to deplete of the monster while you're pressing buttons as fast as you can, alternating them, using every resource or every button again that has been cooled down already. And that is a shame because again, I will tell you, even though the battles or the cinematics are super spectacular, right? It's epic or something, the game, right? The gameplay itself lacks so much depth that it will make you wonder, what the hell am I doing? Why am I even playing this game? I should have just watched this in YouTube at all because 80% of the time it's just cinematics anyway. Why should I just watch it and not play it at all because I'm not even thinking. I'm just mashing buttons, right? So the RPG elements, it's super sad. It's super sad. The variation as well. So again, you have like on an RPG, you can change your armor, you can change your sword, you can even change hair colors. Now, of course, I understand they're trying to be realistic and whatnot, but that's the reason why these are games, not movies, right? There's a reason why these are games, not real life, because we want to be lost on this fantasy, right? We want to have fun. We don't want to be depressed. And this game is kind of like depressing, right? This game has no fun at all. This game has no chill. So Final Fantasy, and especially other games like like a Dragon, Yakuza, or other games, again the Trails of Cold Steel, the one I'm playing, they're always putting contents that will make you smile, right? Will make you laugh, will make you emotional, will make you cry. A lot of like green jokes, a lot of like stupid games, mini games, a lot of things. It's variation, right? A lot of things that you can do, and that's why you really love gaming, right? You really love playing the game. This game, Final Fantasy 16, none of those things, guys. I'm not even kidding. None of those things. People here aren't even smiling at all, right? They're like dead AF, right? When you're speaking with an NPC like this right now, it's kind of like a Ubisoft or something, like a different online game that is just brain dead, right? It's kind of sad. If you look on this NPC right now, the graphics is not even that good if you're like looking at this kind of sequence, but it's tedious. It's not something that you're gonna love because you don't effing care on this character at all, right? You don't have any reason for him, for you to talk to him. You don't care. He's not even interesting, and nothing. There's no variation on this one. There's no happiness. There's no emotion that you will feel. Honestly speaking, that's the biggest gripe that I have as well. Again, even though this game is super spectacular, super awesome, when you play it, you're not gonna feel anything other than being amazed on how pretty it is, right? So you will always, oh my god, the graphics is so nice, the cutscene's so nice, but that's it. You won't feel emotional. You won't feel loved. You will not love anyone else. You will not care, right? You will not feel betrayed. You will not feel sadness. You will not cry. You will not laugh. Nothing. No emotion you're going to feel on this one. Even the death of some of the people here will absolutely do you nothing, right? And that's sad because I remember when I played Final Fantasy 15 and I believe again, what's the name again? Fresca, right? The girl, right? Luna Freya. I've forgotten already. But when she died, man, I'm like, I cried I cried as hell. Like, man, I care so much. When I'm playing Trails of Cold Steel, and one of my character there dead, couple of them, man, I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, like I feel so down. And remember, the graphics of this game, or the graphics of that game, is not even half of this quality, right? Just proves that graphics ain't everything on game, right? I applaud the graphics, but man, it's just a shame that they forgot everything else, right? Now again, it's because of also the story and the entertainment factor. Lacking variation and things like that, like what I said, it's not gonna give you like a roller coaster of emotion, right? It's not gonna give you like a high and lows. It's just gonna give you like a medium, a monotone feeling, like you just wanna play and end it. You just wanna play it so that again you're not gonna be FOMO or because it's popular, but you're not gonna play it just because you care, right? That's the problem, and I think it comes with the story as well. The story is so deep. It's actually not deep. It's so serious, right? That some of us may not really pay attention to that. Some of us is like, I don't care. It's not interesting. The story is there, but it's not as engaging as other stories, of Final Fantasy has been, right? Now, one gripe as well that I have, another for comment, I have a lot of cons already, is the actual locations, right? They're kind of like dead to me right now. Of course, I'm in training mode here. Let me get that right away. But for the world again, this is like an open world, like or rather enclosed to regions, sections by sections. But once you get into a certain section, it will feel like it's an open world because you can actually run around. But those locations are dead AF, right? There are no people, there are no establishment, there's no world. I mean, of course, there's world. It's kind of like barren, right? So like there's desert, there's forest, and then there's place where you see a lot of rocks, and that's it, right? Kind of like biomes. Honestly speaking, when you go to those, you feel nothing, right? You won't really care, and you won't even memorize those plays because they look super good, right? They look super awesome in graphics. However, they look plain AF, right? It's like you won't remember any of those. It's just something that you're gonna pass by, but you will not remember them like Ragnarok. Like, oh, that's Frontera, that's this, that's that. You won't remember any of those. It's not something memorable. Yeah, they're none of like that. Also, for the secrets, remember places on Final Fantasy has always got secrets, a lot of secrets. Now I'm pretty sure if I play more time, if I play deep enough, there will be secrets on this one. But on the actual playthrough itself, on the on the surface, it's not that great on secrets, right? So on the places itself, you won't see a cave, you won't see like, for example, Elden Ring, right? You're just running around and then all of a sudden there's like a cave and then you can actually go into the cave and there's a lot of places. There's nothing like that here. It's just really plain on the story. It's very linear. So for example, this Great Wood, graphics are awesome, but then you're just gonna run from point A to point B on this one. There's no there's no cave, there's no exploration, right? There's no spaceship, there's no hop to hop, there's no open world, there's no RPG element that you again come to know and love. So again, that's a lot of problem, in this game. But I think I've been talking so much already on this again because I'm so frustrated. Honestly, I'm just really frustrated because again, Final Fantasy 16 is a game that I really hope to be good. But right now, I even purchased this for like 97 SGD or Singapore dollar. It's very expensive. Actually, it's even more expensive than the disc version. But it's just so disappointing that I cannot make myself really be excited in playing more of it. Right? That's the problem. I cannot make myself be more interested in it than what I just have to do, right? I want to play it right now because I kind of feel like I have to, right? Because a lot of people are also playing it. It's kind of like a pressure or something. But for me personally, it's not something I'm looking forward to play. Because whenever I play it, I'm like this, just going to the point A, point B, listen to them banter a little bit, and then fight. And the battle system is very, very shallow again, kind of like a mobile game. No impact as well. It's spectacular. You can see a lot of lights or something, but man, Final Fantasy VII Remake battle is absolutely very high compared to this, right? Final Fantasy VII Remake battle is just top notch compared to this. This is not even half of that, right? The battle of this is very shallow. The actual skill that you're gonna get, when you level up, it's just mediocre. And remember, because it moves very fast, as you can see right now, it's very fast. You won't be able to plan really, right? Or even save or appreciate the things that you have. For example, you enabled another move, right, through your skills, or you got another power or something. You won't really be able to use that, right? For example, you want to use a new skill that you enabled. It's very shallow. It's not like an RPG or something. It's not even passive, right? So instead of using that because it's very fast, you're just gonna smash a button again and just wait for the enemy to die anyway, right? So instead of using strategic attack, like we're probably gonna do in Elden Ring or other action games that are really good or other RPG for that matter, here you're just gonna smash them buttons, waiting for them to drop dead. And that is a shame because again, it's very, very tiresome, right? Very tiresome. Now, this monster, if you can see, it kind of like looks like a Monster Hunter already, but the battle of it's super, super meh, right? If you played Monster Hunter and you feel something when you're fighting those kind of enemies, you won't feel anything of that here, right? This is just pure smashing buttons, waiting for health bar to deplete, and then healing yours so that you won't die, and that's basically it, right? It's very, very shallow. It's a shame, right? Again, I mumble a lot, I provide a lot, but I'm just providing my own thoughts about it. Being a Final Fantasy fan myself, I believe Final Fantasy 16 though is a breakthrough on graphical fidelity, right? On presentation and things like that, and it's really showcasing PlayStation 5 power, which I absolutely love. However, with that being said, being a gamer myself, I'm just really disappointed and sad that the Square Enix, right, or the team who created this, basically, focused so much on that graphics, right, and the action and the presentation, right, the spectacular, right, the epicness of it. They focused so much on that they forgot what Final Fantasy is all about, right? Final Fantasy indeed is spectacular and great on presentation and spectacle, but we never love Final Fantasy for those. Those are just bonus points. We always love Final Fantasy because of the deep lore and the character, the build up of the characters that is always available to be played and to be seen, to be witnessed grow on each iteration, on each game. Again, we have Cloud and Seven, Tifa, Aerith, Barret, we have a lot of them, right? Plus their families, their own lores. We have Squall. We have a lot of other Final Fantasy characters per version, and they always have their own, group of friends. And you got nothing here. You got absolutely nothing here, and that is just sad because Clive will feel like a dead man, because you won't really care about his intention, his motive, his even like life itself, right? His well-being, because he got nobody really aside from one or two people that just probably comes and go, right? Not only in battle, but in the actual story of the game, there's no attachment on the characters. And being so real, right? They're driving for realism or something. Of course, games will remove the fun version of it as long as they're looking like real people who, as we know, real people are kind of like depressing AF. That's why we want to be lost in fantasy, right? So that we can see ridiculous amount of stuff. But here, realism. So even the hair, even the people aren't looking that awesome, aren't looking that fantasy. They just look a bunch of handsome people, handsome guys that are very uninteresting. Final Fantasy 16 is a great media, right? It's a great piece of entertainment. But again, for my own opinion, this is not a Final Fantasy game at all. This is just something, right, that is derived from Final Fantasy, but Final Fantasy 16 is not worthy of the name Final Fantasy. It should have been made as a different game, right? As like a side one. It should not inherit the Final Fantasy 16 name. Final Fantasy 16 should be like any other Final Fantasy. But if this is really the direction of Final Fantasy, I'm sad to say I'm probably gonna be off board now, right? I have been an avid fan of Final Fantasy since I can remember, but maybe this is really the last nail in the coffin that I will say goodbye to my old-time favorite, because this ain't Final Fantasy anymore. This is a great game, yes, great material, but this is not the Final Fantasy RPG that I've been looking for. If I wanted to play an action game, If I wanted to play a really good action game, I will play an action game. I'm playing Final Fantasy. I'm looking forward for a Final Fantasy so I can play the Final Fantasy that I can remember. But since this is not the Final Fantasy that I can remember anymore, I will just probably play those old ones. But that's all from me, guys. Let me know down in the comments what are your thoughts. Of course, I always read those comments, so just go ahead and comment. What do you think about this game? Have you played it? Did you like it as well? I mean, again, this is great, so everybody, that has different tastes. So let me know down in the comments if you like this game. Like this video if this helped you. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet. I also upload a lot of other videos such as unboxing or reviews like this. But that's all for today. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe and see you on my next one. Peace.